This is part 2, and I do want to back up for just a second on the objectives. Make sure that you include the appropriate level of blooms. And I'm going to show you guys an example in just a minute, but that is one thing that a lot of students forget, is to look up and decide what level of blooms they think their objectives are. And one thing I noticed down here, I was missing, or no, I had the word devices misspelled, so I definitely need to fix that as well. It's always helpful to actually do your editing before you're videoing something, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone realized, yes, I realized that I did not spell devices correctly, which that was right here, and now we are moving into materials. So once you have outlined what the instruction will be, what the activities will be, and the strategies that you're going to use to get those lessons taught, you're going to include a section on materials. So you'll outline the necessary materials and equipment needed to conduct the lesson. And this will include all materials needed for the student, if they're going to have individual Chromebooks, if they're going to have print resources, any resources also that the school library media specialist will use. So if you are going to use your smart board and a computer to, give the initial parts of the lesson, then you would include that as well. Explain how each resource will be used and by whom. So if this part's easier as well to put in table format, I highly recommend that. The next section will be on implementation. So outline how many sessions will be needed in order to complete this lesson unit. Typically, lessons shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes. And by lesson, that means that direct instruction from you as the teacher librarian. An ideal time for a lesson is on average about 20 minutes. You kind of call those mini lessons. So it may take several sessions or class periods to complete, but briefly outline what will be covered in each session. And if it's a 50-minute class period, you can talk about, if you're going to only instruct for 30 minutes and then give the students 20 minutes to do some online activities or something, with you as the monitor, you can include that in that implementation. Finally, you're going to put in the evaluation, and this is where you'll reflect on the outcome and the effectiveness of the lesson. So you'll talk about what type of data you're collecting with the instrument that you've designed. How will you use that data for improving the lesson? Will you survey the students to find out what they thought? Will you also do your own self-reflection? Will you check with the teacher, the cooperating teacher, and see what they thought needed improvement or what went well? And put a copy of whatever instrument in Appendix E of the assignment. So let's say, for instance, you're going to send a Google survey to all of the students through Google Classroom, to let them self-reflect. If you want to include a screenshot of that Google form, you could do that. Or if you're going to, take notes, you and the collaborating teacher or the cooperating teacher, if you're just going to do that in email form, that's fine. Just include whatever the process is that you will be evaluating that lesson. And make sure you reflect on, where you think you'll find good information to help you design whatever further instruction you would do. I would use the assignment outlined below for the appropriate headings. It definitely helps with headings, but look at the assignment rubric to make sure. Up here, I had numbers, and if you notice, I already had misnumbered, but one thing in an APA formatted scholarly paper that you're going to put together, there typically are not numbers in front of headings. So you'll start with the classroom topic introduction, the needs assessment, the goals. You'll go down, and just kind of work through. ALMF stands for the Arkansas Library Media Framework. So you'll use whatever state content standards, for whatever content area you're using. The AASL, School Library Standards, the Arkansas Library Media Frameworks. Then you'll include your content area terminal objectives, your content area enabling objectives, and there will be 9 total because you need 3 for each of the terminal objectives. And then you'll move into the information literacy skill objectives. You'll need the summary of the assessment, the instructional strategies and activities, materials, the implementation, and the evaluation. And then all of your documents will go in each appendices. And make sure you refer to whatever, if the needs assessment is up here in this body, refer somewhere and direct your reader down to Appendix A for some point. And if you notice, I did leave out between the evaluation and Appendix A, you need references. So whatever references you will include, they need to be in there, and I can't add them right now. But this will be a large portion of your grade. It's 99 points. It is expected that you earn at least 72 because this is one of those key assessments that will be used for your final overall portfolio evaluation at the end of the program. So make sure that for this one especially, take time, get it done early, have someone look it over. If you have time to check with the Writing Center at UCA, please by all means do so, but have somebody look at it and make sure that this is the very best work that you can do. And in the module for this week, you'll notice that there is also, I've included the scoring rubric, and this one is directly from Chalk and Wire, so I'll use the same rubric in Chalk and Wire as I do for our course. But I always want everyone to look at, the advanced section. We definitely don't want to be over here. But notice, so it starts with the classroom topic introduction. Does this show knowledge of the classroom, the subject area, the topic? Does it meet and exceed all criteria outlined? Does it show great effort on the part of the student? That one will be worth 8 points, and it goes all the way down to 2 points. Needs assessment. Does the needs assessment demonstrate exemplary work? Is it a variety of data was collected and utilized? Do you explain that? Does it meet and exceed all of the criteria outlined? Does it show great effort on the part of the student? Again, that's worth 8. So you can look down through, and as you put together your paper, definitely go back and just keep looking at this to make sure that you have all parts that you need. And make sure that your organization, make sure that your paper is formatted, designated according to our assignment sheet. Do include a cover page that has your name, the course, the year, or semester, and the professor. Include a running head. You do not have to have an abstract or a table of contents for this paper. But do make sure that your language is appropriate for scholarly writing. Typically, you avoid first person within the body of a paper for APA style. When you get ready to write your instructional objectives, do locate the ABCD objective format guide that I have included in our module. So if you'll just break it down, make sure that the A, that's going to be the description of the audience, who's the learner. And the audience is very easy. Put down, is it 4th grade students in Mrs. May's classroom? Or do you want to specifically say, that you are working with a GT group in Ms. Barnett's 5th period literacy class? Just, identify who your learners are. That's the audience. The description of the behavior, make sure it tells how the goal will be, if you can tell if it's been reached, and we'll look at that in a minute. The C, this is the conditions under what the behavior will be performed. And D, what degree will it need to occur for that instruction to be judged successful. So for the behavior, you're going to tell whatever the learner will be able to do, and you have to be very careful with the verbs that you're going to choose for this. If you put in that the students will appreciate or know or become aware of or understand, those are not measurable goals. Those need to be written. It needs to be where the, a behavior that could be measured is, can the student or learner verbally state? Can they write down? Not sure why throw was included in here, but can they select, the correct vocabulary terms? So it needs to be something that you as the teacher can tell whether or not the student was successful. The conditions, what information or tools or equipment is going to be available for the students to be able to complete whatever behavior you said. And then the degree, how much, what needs to be done or attempted to, the learner has to be performing at, for you to decide that that goal has been reached. So they're saying if the behavior is locating a government website, how many must the learner locate to know, if they've found 4 .gov sites, is that enough? Or if they need to use APA citation style manner, how many mistakes can be made by the learner for you to say that they have met that goal? So there are 3 sample instructional objectives given a list of 20 singular nouns ending in F or FE, that's the condition. The learner, which should probably be a little more like, the 4th grade students will correctly write the plural behavior. That's, they'll write the plural of at least 15 of those 20 nouns. So if you look at the sample paper that I've included, they did a very good job in this one with their content and enabling objectives. So the content, the terminal one, for the content area, after completing the unit Age of Exploration in the Americas, the learner will be able to create a diary written from the perspective of an explorer that includes at least 4 reasons that led to the Age of Exploration of the Americas and why it was important, with at least 75% accuracy. So they've included the Bloom's level. This person, these students are creating. And I would have said, if it was, I can't remember what grade level this is, but I would go ahead and include in specifically what grade level they are. But their enabling objectives, after reading the book Exploration and Conquest and a class discussion, the learner will be able to explain 2 reasons why trade led to European exploration. After reading the book and class discussion, the learner will be able to explain 2 reasons why religion led to the European exploration. And then after reading the book and class discussion, the learner will be able to explain 2 reasons why influence and wealth led to European exploration. If you remember, they're going back here. By the end, the students need to be able to have at least 4 reasons that led to the Age of the Exploration of the Americas. So by doing these 3 content or these enabling objectives, theoretically, that all students should find at least 4 reasons that led to the Age of Exploration. And you can look at their other content terminal objectives, but also if you look at their information literacy skills ones, after completing the unit, Age of Exploration in the Americas, the learner will be able to use information literacy skills to find 3 facts about the assigned European exploration from at least 1 print source and at least 1 online source, and explain what research technique was used to find each source with 75% accuracy. So they did use a bad verb, understand, but theoretically, the enabling objectives are very well done. So after instruction and practice in learning centers, the learner will be able to use information literacy skill, such as using text features to find 3 facts about European exploration in a print source with 100% accuracy. After instruction and practice, they would be able to do the information literacy skills, such as using quotation marks and Boolean operators, databases, and the OPAC to find at least 3 facts about European exploration in an online source. And then their 3rd enabling objective for that first content objective, after instruction and practice, the learner will be able to describe in writing what information literacy skill was used to find each fact. They'll be able to rank the technique for effectiveness and explain why that rank was chosen. So if they are using text features or Boolean operators for that online source, they should be able to explain that.